I came back to the past with a BGM system in my head. One step, one song, and suddenly, the Emperor's palace is in chaos. Ministers screaming, princes blushing, and me? I'm just trying to survive, but apparently, I'm too powerful. After transmigrating, I came with my own built-in BGM. The first time I entered the palace, right in front of everyone, my butt started singing with deep emotion. I trespassed into the royal domain, urging you to let go of the sand in your hand. The crown prince scanned the room, then silently put down the purple clay teapot he was holding. The emperor summoned me to step closer. I lifted my head. Fate runs wild, like a lone swan drifting free. It hit the emperor right in the soft spot. When the Grand Tutor passed by the emperor's side, I have no title, I make no complaints. With you, I could never give rise to hate. The crown prince hesitated, then said, Mother Emperor, how about giving the Grand Tutor a proper status? After that, everyone avoided me like the plague. Everyone except His Highness the Crown Prince, who stubbornly stuck to me just to watch the drama unfold. One day, a cheesy little love song suddenly started playing from him. Oh no. Looks like I really did barge straight into the heart of the imperial family.
1.
I transmigrated to ancient times and got bound to a system that automatically plays background music depending on the situation. On the day my father was promoted, my sisters and I were serving him tea. And then, out of all of us, only I started playing that half-dead, listless song by Lam Yufeng. This is ancient times. Who on earth is singing? The lads around here love jade pendants hanging from their necks. My father, who always loved showing off his Hetian jade pendant, stiffened and instinctively tucked it into his robes. On the altar where incense is laid, only when grown do the white and yellow tablets appear. Everyone's gaze snapped to the incense burner and ancestral tablets behind my father, then slowly turned to me. That was when I realized the sound was coming from my hair. I panicked and hugged my head. My father frowned, about to explode, when suddenly a slow, drawn-out "Fortune is Coming" played. His brows instantly smoothed out. The string of auspicious phrases that followed had him practically glowing. Overjoyed, he exclaimed, Bingjie is truly an auspicious sign for our Wen family. I've just been promoted, and heaven sends divine music. What a blessing to our household. What a pride to me. My sister's looks were so creepy, I felt my soul leaving my body. I just wanted to request, having a son isn't necessarily a blessing on the spot. Old man, your blessings are only just beginning. I lived half a month as the family's so-called good omen. My father tried everything to extract more revelations about himself from me. Nothing. Instead, the day I paid my respects to my legal mother, she triggered the BGM. Excuse me, what time is it over there right now? My heart dropped. And then, the music cut off abruptly. My legal mother froze, thought for a few seconds, then said hesitantly, Your father should be at the early noon hour. Is there still my scent by your side? Or have you already found a brand new perfume? We're dead.
Completely dead.
I watched as my legal mother's expression darkened instantly and hurried to explain. Mother, maybe the song is just nonsense. Please don't take it to heart. She slammed the table and stood up. Someone, go find out where that bastard is right now. At a brothel. I closed my eyes in despair, unable to watch the old man get beaten half to death. Barely clinging to life, he cursed me weakly. You demon. My legal mother whipped him as she shouted. What demon? I say Bingjie is clearly a blessing. She turned to comfort me. Shubing, don't be afraid. Tomorrow, Mother will take you into the palace to meet His Majesty. Let's see who dares call you a demon then. Maybe let's not. I'm scared I'll cause an even bigger disaster.
2.
My resistance was useless. The next day, I still followed my legal mother into the palace. That day, the emperor was hosting a flower viewing banquet. Not only high-ranking ministers attended, so did many noble families. My sisters were dressed with elegant grandeur. My legal mother, without a word, put me in a bright pink long dress. But I knew it. I was just a walking jukebox among these people. A human karaoke machine. You could call me KTV. Before the audience with the Emperor, I thoroughly checked my whole body. And even brought 2 pairs of earplugs. Useless, sure, but at least they could mute the world. So I could listen to the sound of my dignity shattering. The moment I stepped into the main hall, before I even saw what the Emperor looked like, my sphincter suddenly relaxed, and my heart clenched tight. Thankfully, what came out wasn't crap, but auspicious vibes. I trespassed into the royal domain, urging you to let go of the sand in your hand. Everyone immediately dropped what they were doing and started looking for the source of the singing. The crown prince, who had been lazily reclining on a couch, straightened up and scanned the room. The only thing that matched the lyrics was the purple clay teapot in his own hand. He gave a helpless smile and silently set the teapot down. Did you all hear singing? I did. Why would there be singing in the palace? I heard it too. Panicking, I shouted, I didn't hear anything. What's singing? You must be mistaken. I clenched with all my might, making the song stutter and glitch. It was truly a case of mouth open, wanting to sing, but no sound comes, powdered face in fine clothes, all fake. Before the song ended, everyone finally realized the sound was coming from me. The Emperor said, I've long heard that the Wen family's youngest daughter is gifted with heaven-sent music. Seeing it today, the reputation is well-deserved. Come, step closer, so I may take a look. The music finally stopped. My heart nearly did too. Unable to tell joy from anger in her voice, I held my breath and shakily walked forward, kneeling before her. Raise your head. I looked up. Fate runs wild, like a lone swan drifting free. I knew it. At this point, clenching was useless. The music was coming from my hands now, left and right, back and forth, full stereo. The Emperor narrowed her phoenix eyes and silently stared at me. My face turned deathly pale. I was already mentally preparing for the extermination of 9 generations. Instead, the Emperor suddenly stood up, exhilarated. What bold words! Fate runs wild. It sings perfectly of my own purity, freedom, aloofness, self-restraint, and unshackled spirit. She sighed wistfully. Though I rule the world, I yearn to be that lone swan, breaking free of all bonds, roaming freely between heaven and earth. My child, surely you feel the same as your mother? The crown prince said.
No.
I yearn to rule the world. The Emperor replied.
Get lost.
3. Right now, the Emperor and the crown prince clearly had very different opinions about me. It was obvious that this chaotic DJ remix of a so-called divine hit had sung straight into the Emperor's heart. She was practically itching to take me as a kindred spirit. Unfortunately, His Highness the Crown Prince had zero interest in being a lone swan. On top of that, he still hadn't gotten his tea, so he took his irritation out on me. He lounged sideways on the couch, long, well-defined fingers idly fiddling with the purple clay teapot in front of him. His gaze, half amused, settled on me. With a faint, unreadable smile, the Crown Prince asked, Miss Wen, do you realize that what you just did could be considered improper conduct before the throne? The Emperor frowned. How is that improper? She was merely expressing her deep admiration for my grace. Grand Tutor, what do you think? The Grand Tutor was already past 40, yet his figure remained upright like a solitary peak, his presence cool and clear, like moonlight floating on a cold pool. He stepped forward and said calmly, Your Majesty is benevolent. I, too, believe it would be inappropriate to punish her over. Before he could finish, I have no status. I don't complain much. With you, I could never give rise to hate. The Grand Tutor froze. A faint flush spread rapidly across his fair face. The Emperor also froze for a beat. She instinctively looked at the Grand Tutor, then quickly looked away, her cheeks reddening as well. Neither of them said a word, but their expressions said everything. I opened my mouth, then stopped myself. Who would have thought, Grand Tutor, you with your thick brows and upright looks, so you too. The previously bored Crown Prince suddenly snapped wide awake, like someone sitting bolt upright from a dying sickbed. That was when I realized the Crown Prince's eyes weren't narrow at all. They were phoenix eyes, just like the Emperor's. His gaze swept back and forth between the Emperor and the Grand Tutor like a searchlight, excitement written all over his face, like a melon-eating beast loose in a field. He offered a razor-sharp commentary. TSK, TSK, TSK. And after all that, you still can't give rise to hate, huh? The Grand Tutor exploded in fury. Your Majesty, this girl speaks nonsense. She must be severely punished. Me, huh? I'm talking nonsense again? The Emperor's expression also flipped instantly. Demon. The Crown Prince shot back. Auspicious sign. The Emperor snapped. Auspicious my ass. The Crown Prince immediately seized the moment. Exactly. Mother Emperor's auspicious sign. Mother Emperor, why don't you just give the Grand Tutor a proper status? The Grand Tutor stopped being angry altogether and cast the Emperor a seemingly casual glance, one brimming with expectation. The Emperor choked on her words, stammering and unable to respond. The Northern Suppression General immediately stood up to bail her out. The Grand Tutor merely received His Majesty's favor by chance. What right does he have to ask for an official status? The Grand Tutor's gaze toward the General turned icy in an instant. My head also swiveled toward the Northern Suppression General like a sunflower tracking the sun. The familiar music immediately started playing. I have no status. I don't complain much. The General's expression changed. The Crown Prince said meaningfully, Oh, so you don't have a status either. I turned to look at the Minister of Revenue beside the General. I have no status. The Vice Minister of Rights. I have no. The Chief Justice of the Court of Judicial Review could never give rise to hate. I looked around in a full circle, and the music never stopped once. I patted my head. No, what is going on? Is this player broken or something? Why does it play music every time I look at a man? At first, the Crown Prince was enthusiastically offering commentary on each one. Later, he didn't dare say another word. Every single man labeled no status. Not much complaining had a face as dark as iron. They were about to complain themselves to death. The Emperor closed her eyes in despair. I'm begging you. Please. Stop singing. After a few seconds of dead silence, the Emperor and the officials all started making excuses to leave. My father is about to give birth. I'll be going now. My corpse isn't feeling well. Farewell. I turned around and realized everyone was looking at me with awe and fear. When they saw me turn, they all took a large step back in unison. Of course. Everyone has secrets they don't want exposed. If something like the Emperor's lover were to be sung out loud by me like that, how humiliating would that be? Sigh. In the end, I had become the very thing I hated most. Someone who blasts stowing videos in public without caring about anyone else's life or death. I was wallowing in my sorrow when I suddenly heard a deeply affectionate voice behind me call out, Miss Wen. I wanted to run too, but the moment I stepped back, I crashed straight into the Crown Prince's chest. The next second, he grabbed my wrist. His gaze burned, a smile curled at his lips, and at the corner of his eye was a tiny cinnabar red mole, vivid as fresh blood. It should have been an incredibly romantic scene, but then, didn't your mom ever teach you that when you bump into someone, you should say sorry? The Crown Prince fell silent for a few seconds. Sorry. I had never met the Crown Prince before, but I'd heard plenty of rumors about him. The current Emperor was a woman. After experiencing the agony of childbirth once, she immediately declared she would never bear another child. Thus, Crown Prince Zhao Xianchan became her only offspring. From the moment he was born, he was doted on and enjoyed endless privilege, which in turn shaped his detached, world-weary personality. It was said that once, when the Crown Prince went on a disaster relief mission with an official, the official suddenly died halfway through the journey, and the Crown Prince didn't even notice. Which, at the very least, proved that the official wasn't killed by him. Yet now, the Crown Prince was holding my hand, polite to the point of seeming almost artificial. Miss Wen, would you allow me from now on to follow behind you and study this heavenly music? You just want to hear gossip, don't you? Beware of ancient people getting addicted to Douyin.
I said, no.
The crown prince brightened instantly. Great. Then it settled. Wait. Who settled this with you? I literally said no. Are you selectively deaf? The crown prince took me to his private treasury. I admit it. Maybe I'd been a bit too loud earlier. A coral tree 10 feet tall, long-lost scores for ancient zither, pearls from the eastern seas scattered everywhere, gemstones, gold so dazzling it nearly blinded me. The entire room glowed with brilliance. I couldn't help taking a few steps forward, only to be yanked back by the collar as the crown prince reacted lightning fast. No grabbing things and running. I flatly denied it. How could that be possible? Then swear it. This time, my silence lasted a little too long. In the end, I said with great difficulty, I just want to touch them. I don't mean anything else. Your Highness, do you really think I'm the kind of person who's greedy for money? The crown prince replied succinctly.
You are. Well.
At least the crown prince isn't blind. I said hypocritically. Don't worry, Your Highness. I'll just look. I definitely won't touch anything. In my heart. Just you wait. I'll clean out this entire treasury. The BGM kicked in right on cue. Should I or shouldn't I? The crown prince panicked. You shouldn't.
You shouldn't.
Stop having thoughts like that. He pinched my cheeks and forcibly turned my face toward him. You should. Against my will, I stared at the room full of gold and jewels, then struggled painfully to tear my gaze away. Compared to a room full of treasure, the crown prince's handsome face instantly seemed dull and colorless. The atmosphere froze. I want to possess you. Possess your beauty. Possess everything about you. There's nothing wrong with that. I said weakly. Your Highness, if I said the one I actually want to possess is you, would you believe me? I wouldn't. The crown prince looked at me with an indescribable expression and finally couldn't help asking. Exactly what part of this is nothing wrong with that? I wiped the drool from my mouth. Your Highness, I really wasn't like this before. If you truly can't stand it, just leave me here alone. You go. No matter how loudly I scream. Don't mind me. The crown prince sighed. Wen Shubing, I won't hide it from you anymore. As long as you use this heavenly music to help me find out who my biological father is, everything in this treasury will be yours. I froze. Now that I thought about it, ever since transmigrating here, I really had never heard a single thing about who the crown prince's biological father was.
5.
The emperor was famously romantic and free-spirited, yet she had never established an empress. There were only a handful of consorts in the inner palace. But judging by people like the Grand Tutor, who knew how many lovers the emperor actually had in private, even when it came to my own father in this life, I couldn't be sure I was his biological daughter. Helping the crown prince find his real father clearly required some unconventional tactics. I asked the crown prince, after all these years, do you have any suspects? The crown prince nodded. When Mother Emperor conceived me, she wasn't in the palace. So, it couldn't have been any of the consorts. I searched for a long time and found nothing, until just now, when you exposed the affair between Mother Emperor and the Grand Tutor. 18 years ago, Mother Emperor was in Jiangnan and she met the Grand Tutor there. I couldn't help asking, are you sure it's only Grand Tutorly? After all, just now hard to give rise to hate, had hated on 17 people in a row. The crown prince looked at me expressionlessly. When I was born, they didn't even have the chance to be without status.
Wow.
The Grand Tutor really had enjoyed enduring favor. We found an opportunity to visit the Grand Tutor, though it felt like he really didn't want to see me. The moment he saw me, the hand he was using to play the qin froze. 3 seconds. Instant blush. The Grand Tutor abruptly stood up, pointing at me, his finger trembling slightly. Zhao Xianchan. What do you mean by bringing her here? Are you trying to humiliate your teacher? The crown prince hurried to explain. Teacher, please listen, this one merely came to pay a visit. The Grand Tutor snapped. Enough. You come to visit your teacher and bring along a whole opera troupe? At least give me a reason. Why is she, someone completely irrelevant here? The crown prince opened his mouth and couldn't explain. Honestly, I wasn't even as useful as an opera troupe. I shot the crown prince a look, signaling him to come up with any excuse. Message received. He steeled himself and stammered. Teacher, actually she is the crown princess consort that I have chosen for myself.
Huh?
Both the grand tutor and I were utterly stunned. Love is like blue skies and white clouds, a clear sky stretching endlessly. Then suddenly a violent storm, nowhere to hide, always catching people off guard. You damn system. What nonsense are you playing now? At that moment, I suddenly empathized deeply with the grand tutor from 3 days ago. I completely exploded and yelled at the crown prince. Zhao Xianchan, when did I ever say I wanted to be your crown princess? Since feelings right now are all ambiguous, you really don't have to force a perfect match. Shuejiqian, shut up right now. I was so angry I felt like coughing up blood, but when I turned my head, I saw Zhao Xianchan smiling. His phoenix eyes, usually half-lidded and lazy, curved gently. The corners lifted slightly, as if hooking a crescent moon. Shubing, don't make a fuss. While I was momentarily distracted, Zhao Xianchan covered my mouth without hesitation, manually muting me. Then he looked at the grand tutor and said affectionately, Teacher, I thought it was time to bring her to meet you. The grand tutor nodded with a smile. Then Zhao Xianchan struck without warning. After all, I should also be calling you father. The grand tutor.
6.
As soon as the words left his mouth, Zhao Xianchan stared fixedly at the grand tutor's expression. Sure enough, the grand tutor's face changed drastically. But it wasn't shock at being exposed. First came confusion, then total emotional collapse. Why did it feel like the grand tutor had just died a little? He murmured, Father? Why would you call me father? Zhao Xianchan froze. Isn't it you? They locked eyes for several seconds. Suddenly, the grand tutor understood, and his face flushed crimson as he was about to explode. The very next second, I want to face the wind and keep you a little longer. How could I bear the cold wind striking where it hurts? Oh no. That really stabbed him right in the sore spot. Zhao Xianchan panicked. Teacher, don't cry. I was joking. I say, Cold Mountain, don't cry. I'll go with you. I'll ride a crane and roam with you. That only made it worse. The grand tutor's name was Li Hanshan. With the music as accompaniment, the grand tutor broke down completely, tears streaming as he grabbed Zhao Xianchan by the collar, crying and yelling at the same time. You unfilial disciple. Even you dare mock your teacher? Everyone knows that back in Jiangnan, His Majesty never once touched me. Any man in the world with even a bit of good looks could be your father, anyone but me. Only I am impossible. Back then, I gave up everything and begged His Majesty to take me into the inner palace, but she refused. She didn't even look at me. And instead, she made me become the grand tutor to the child she had with that bitch. My entire life has been a tragic misplacement of devotion. Zhao Xianchan and I both trembled, covering our ears, not daring to listen. The awkwardness was so intense my toes could have dug a hole through the floor. I just wanted to escape immediately. But whether his emotions had overflowed or something else, the grand tutor clutched Zhao Xianchan and began pouring out 18 years' worth of bitterness. And the damn system just had to add fuel to the fire. It's like I'm standing alone on that 3-foot red stage, waiting for you to come and boo me. The grand tutor's sobbing paused, then grew even louder. Panicking, I whispered to the system, Change the song, I'm begging you. Grant me a love once shared. Why did you leave in such a hurry? Grant me a clean break. Why am I the only one still unable to let go? Zhao Xianchan muttered, still fanning the flames? I mistook romance for ink. Wrote my whole life in error. That year you passed through Jiangnan, I never should have stirred the winds of love. I give up. Why are there so many tragic songs? Such a massive music library. And it can't scrape together even a few sweet love songs? What on earth is wrong with this world? Enough! The Grand Tutor suddenly roared. He pointed at me and said to Zhao Xianchan, "Take your singing crown princess and get out." Zhao Xianchan and I were driven out in utter disgrace. Even as we left, the damned system still wouldn't shut up. "I sing you a song, breath thin as drifting silk, who plucks the strings, turning longing into illness." I had a feeling the Grand Tutor's breath really was becoming as thin as drifting silk. And for at least the next 100 years, he probably wouldn't want to touch a qin ever again. Sometimes, even in the most chaotic messes, a little clue can turn the tide. And just when we thought all hope was lost, the Grand Tutor left us a breadcrumb, or maybe a whole trail, to follow. Let's see where this unexpected lead takes them next. 7. Fortunately, before driving us out, the Grand Tutor still gave us some clues. Over the past 18 years, though he appeared calm and indifferent on the surface, he secretly speculated about who the Crown Prince's biological father might be. His prime suspect was a certain young Master Xia, who had once been favored by the Emperor. Back when the Emperor was still the Imperial Princess, she had been sent on a southern tour and stayed overnight in a household in Jiangnan. There, she met Xia Nanji, a handsome young man with a cool and refined aura. Of course, the Emperor had probably encountered 7 or 8 other handsome men at the same time. But only Xia Nanji accompanied her night after night, receiving all the special attention. Just as the Grand Tutor and others were about to pool their resources to quietly eliminate their rival, Xia Nanji suddenly fell out of favor and was exiled to Kudu Monastery for reflection. After that, the Emperor became pregnant. After hearing this, I also found Xia Nanji suspicious. Throughout history, the children of female emperors were usually recorded under the Empress's name, but the current emperor hadn't established an Empress. Could it be that Xia Nanji was the Emperor's white moonlight, her one true love, and she deliberately kept him at a distance to protect him from others' interference? Zhao Xianchan asked me, "Do you have any ideas?" I asked the system, "Got any hints for me?" I expected the system to play a little song to give me a clue. Instead, "You pluck the pipa and play the strings. I sit before the stage of actors." Zhao Xianchan looked puzzled. "What is that supposed to mean?" I thought for a moment. Qin Shi Huang riding a polar bear? The system paused for a few seconds, then switched songs. "A gentle breeze upon the southern branch. In dreams, still longing. Wait for autumn winds to watch the mountains. Then revisit old acquaintances." I was ecstatic. Sigh of old acquaintance. It's definitely him. The Emperor's sacred name is Qingfeng, so this Xia Nanji must be connected to you. But what did wait for autumn winds to watch the mountains, then revisit mean? Still skeptical, Zhao Xianchan followed me to Kudu Monastery. I have to say, the monastery was incredibly remote. Not exactly ideal for sneaking in secret affairs. When we arrived, Xia Nanji was playing the qin. Honestly, isn't playing the qin like the hottest fashion statement in this dynasty? Even his angle and style matched the Grand Tutor exactly. His delicate profile seemed carved from cold jade, and even in loose monk's robes, his beauty was undeniable. Without turning his head, Xia Nanji said softly, "Linu, you finally came." Few people knew, Linu was Zhao Xianchan's childhood nickname. Before the Emperor gave birth, she had dreamed of a cat, its mouth marked with a black pattern resembling Xianchan, much like the white cat princess Qianghua of the later Tang kept. Thus, she named him Xianchan, with a childhood name Linu. This was something Zhao Xianchan had told me himself. The fact that Xia Nanji knew this showed that his relationship with the crown prince was truly unusual. Zhao Xianchan said nothing, only staring at me. Why was he staring at me? Oh, of course.
He wanted me to sing.
System, let's get to work. After my long urging, the system reluctantly played the BGM for a searching for family program. The moment the music started, Zhao Xianchan's expression changed. It was as if a spirit possessed him, his face instantly softened with devotion. He knelt on the ground, exclaiming, "Father, 18 years have passed, and I've finally found you." Xiananji hurried over to support him, sighing. Linu, why must you suffer so? The emperor exiled me here to Kudu Monastery to prevent us father and son from recognizing each other. I am the one the emperor despises. I cannot drag you down with me. Zhao Xianchan's eyes blazed with righteous indignation. How could Mother Emperor do such a thing? No matter what, you are still my biological father. He waved at me. Father, this is Shubing. I thought it was also time to bring her to meet you. Couldn't he even change his lines? The Grand Tutor really would cry if you asked him to. I awkwardly smiled at Xiananji, silently cursing Zhao Xianchan. Xiananji smiled warmly. All right. Today, father and son meet again. We shall share a meal together. I'll go prepare the vegetarian dishes for you. The moment he turned, Zhao Xianchan's smile vanished completely. What now, Miss Crown Princess?
8.
I carefully asked. Now that you've found your father, what's the plan next, Your Highness? Zhao Xianchan said calmly. Take him out. What? I stammered. Zhao Xianchan, do you even hear yourself? This is your biological father. Traveling thousands of miles just to kill him? What are you thinking? He glanced at me, voice grave. If he weren't my real father, I wouldn't bother. Throughout history, Empress Dowagers have exercised power, so why not a male Empress Dowager? Mother Emperor hid my biological father to prevent him from controlling me when I ascend the throne. Better to just kill him, one action, all problems solved. It made so much sense, I had no words to argue. He continued without hesitation. Later, I'll poison a few dishes. Watch carefully, and don't touch those. I sat down to eat, feeling like I was attending a funeral. Then I realized the poisoned dishes were all my favorites. Are you insane? Why poison braised tofu? Bitter melon is horrible enough. Why not a few drops there instead? I chewed bitter melon in bitter resentment while watching this father-son duo toast each other. Father, these years you've suffered. When I ascend the throne, I will welcome you back to the palace as Empress Dowager. No need, Linu. As long as I know you've been well these years, I am at peace. The Emperor despises me already. Don't anger her further. Father. Linu. Then both of them suddenly collapsed, giving me a fright. Do they have such poor alcohol tolerance? I continued eating my food of sorrow, until I noticed Zhao Xianchan's face turning green and Xiananji's turning purple. I realized something was wrong. I didn't have time to say. I was uneasy. A bit confused, a bit slow. Only then did I realize promises were lies. You fell, and I could only watch. Stop yelling. Stop yelling. It's not like I deliberately stood by. I quickly went to support Zhao Xianchan, calling for the guards. Xiananji, shocked, said, You actually poisoned the dishes? Zhao Xianchan sneered. Didn't you also poison the wine? As soon as we left the monastery, a group of assassins blocked our path. Zhao Xianchan glanced once and immediately recognized them. Autumn Wind Guards, you serve, Third Prince? Our guards engaged the assassins, buying us time to escape. But unfamiliar with the terrain, we could only follow the song the system played. At that moment, I finally understood what the first song had meant. Qin Shi Huang riding a polar bear, it was telling us to run. Wait for autumn winds to watch the mountains, then revisit old acquaintances. That meant we would check back after Zhao Xianchan ascends the throne. Don't look back. Don't stop, move forward. I will stand behind you. Zhao Xianchan looked back. Cliff ahead. Of course, you can't completely trust the system.
9.
In a frantic rush, we tumbled and scrambled down the mountain. Finally, we called for reinforcements and soon Xiananji and the assassins were brought in. Xiananji's face was purple, like Thanos, yet he forced himself to stand upright, sneering. Apparently, the crown prince is cold-hearted. Sure enough, he tried to kill me the moment he thought I was his biological father. Truly the offspring of Zhao Qingfeng's woman. So you're not my father? Ridiculous. Back then, Zhao Qingfeng knew I was Third Prince's man. But because she couldn't bear to look at me, she still kept me close. She wouldn't touch me, So I took the risk of trying to assassinate her. But she didn't kill me. She just exiled me to this temple. A woman clearly ruled by emotion. Zhao Xianchan sighed lightly. Mistaken again. I guess I'll have to kill him once more. With a casual wave of his hand, he ordered Xia Nanji executed. Xia Nanji struggled and shouted, "Wait! Don't you want to know who your biological father is?" Before Zhao Xianchan could answer, the system started singing. When the time comes, drink it and go, go. Cross the bridge. Everything starts anew. Xia Nanji's eyes widened. He literally died of rage. Zhao Xianchan looked a little wistful. Fine, let's just say my biological father is already dead. Back at the palace, the emperor scolded the crown prince, and of course, I got scolded too. Zhao Xianchan protested. Mother Emperor, that Xia tried to assassinate you. Why didn't you just kill him? The emperor scoffed. A weak man with looks. What trouble could he really stir? So, you just couldn't bear to look at him? The emperor was strangely silent. Quickly changing the subject, she said, Linu, you've reached the age to marry. Why are you still running around? Starting tomorrow, I'll choose a crown princess for you. She looked at me. Shubing, you will help the crown prince make the selection.
Me.
Me help select? With this system around, I could easily, accidentally close the door on all potential brides, leaving the crown prince single forever.
10.
The daughters of the capital's officials really showed me the breadth of the music library. The daughter of the Minister of Justice appeared. Righteous light shines upon the earth. The daughter of the Minister of Revenue. Bring wealth, bring. The Chancellor's daughter. He grinds ink and writes 4 characters for me. Great ambitions. The daughter of the General of the Western Campaign. I command the winds and clouds, I roam freely, as thousands admire. I command the winds and clouds, I never need to look back. Hearing all this, Zhao Xianchan could only think of TikTok hits. He complained, why isn't there a single reliable one? I leaned closer, curious.
What kind do you like?
Zhao Xianchan smiled. Of course. We were so close that when he turned his head, his lips brushed against the strands of hair at my temple, and I froze. What's wrong? I still remember the first time I saw you, how my heart trembled. Between us, it was like there was no fuse, yet somehow a spark ignited. Suddenly, a love song played from Zhao Xianchan. This BGM made me feel extremely uneasy. Oh no, I really had crashed into the imperial family. Zhao Xianchan hadn't even reacted yet, looking puzzled. What does this mean? Luckily, this was the moment Miss Su of the Chongning Marquis house appeared. I said seriously, Crown Prince, congratulations. You've fallen in love. The one you like is Miss Su from the Chongning Marquis house. Zhao Xianchan looked confused at my explanation. He looked at Miss Su. Any girl chosen by the emperor as a candidate for crown princess could not be ordinary. Miss Su had a cool, refined appearance and virtuous character. Certainly the type to inspire love at first sight. But Zhao Xianchan stared at her for a long time, still uncertain. But I don't feel I'm moved by her. I interrupted him. Do you think the heavenly music system made a mistake? Zhao Xianchan hesitated. Heavenly music does not make mistakes. He asked himself, almost dazed. Could it be? I really like Miss Su? I watched his eyes gradually grow resolute, finally letting out a long breath. The emperor's task entrusted to me was finally accomplished. Zhao Xianchan stood up and walked toward Miss Su under the astonished gazes of the crowd. He was usually aloof, indifferent to women. This time, however, he smiled at Miss Su. Miss Su responded appropriately, conversing happily with him. Seeing this, people around them began whispering. Looks like the future crown princess is from the Chongning Marquis house. But I heard the crown prince was close to the daughter of the Wen family recently? You must be joking, a 5th-rank official's daughter, and a secondary one at that. How could she become crown princess? At that moment, the system intervened. Please fall in love with someone like me. I hate it when you talk to others. I hate it when you smile at others. I hate that you're popular. I pray no one wants you. Besides me, don't think about anyone else. The sudden music startled me. I hurriedly covered my face, thinking, System, can you stop making things worse? System, useless. Me, he's the crown prince. How is that my fault? System, try harder. Me, I can't. System, annoying. Me, stop annoying me. 11.
The system was now at odds with me.
Zhao Xianchan and Miss Su watched the lanterns together. The system played If Love Forgets. Miss Su was received by the emperor and rewarded with gifts. The system played I Can Only Leave. I was beyond annoyed. When Zhao Xianchan came to me, he found me packing. He leaned lazily against the doorframe and asked, Shubing, where are you going? Before I could answer, the system played Go to the Arctic to forget you. No need to go that far. I straightened up and said, Since the crown princess candidate has been chosen, I should go home. Zhao Xianchan raised his hand, blocking the door firmly, trapping me in that small space. No rush. I want to hear your opinion on Su Qing. I took a deep breath. Su Qing, surname Su, given name Qin, courtesy name Jizi, from Luoyang in the Eastern Zhou period, a strategist, diplomat, and political thinker. Zhao Xianchan. I mean Miss Su Qing from the Chongning Marquis House. The system began playing Bad Girl. I was shocked and couldn't catch my breath. The system then switched to Cute Woman. Heavenly music, says Miss Su Qing, is quite good. Zhao Xianchan frowned, his voice cooling. I want your opinion. I took a deep breath. My opinion? Miss Su Qing is intelligent, virtuous, and beautiful, perfectly fit to be crown princess. Is that so? A flicker of emotion passed through Zhao Xianchan's eyes, so quickly it was almost imperceptible. Using hurtful words, never thinking if they can be taken back. Once spoken, only more loss and pain. Why bother? The BGM played, and both Zhao Xianchan and I struggled to keep composure. I hurriedly explained, This heavenly music is broken, ignore it. Zhao Xianchan remained calm, but for some reason, I felt his mood lighten. You're not being honest with yourself. Heavenly music can't be wrong. I did fall for Su Qing at first sight. Regardless of what heavenly music says, I will marry this crown princess. How can I say I don't love you? How can I make myself give up? We keep proving again and again, only to hurt each other. Me. Zhao Xianchan quickly added, See, heavenly music really is broken.
Yeah.
We awkwardly laughed at each other. Zhao Xianchan had no reason to stop me and could only watch as I picked up my luggage to leave. I'll escort you a bit. Without waiting for a reply, he grabbed my luggage and walked ahead, moving with measured steps. I followed silently, deliberately keeping a balanced distance. Not too close, not too far.
12.
We walked on like that for a while, until the system finally couldn't hold it in anymore. My girl, come a little closer to me. I'm not a bad person. Why are you staying so far away? Zhao Xianchan stopped abruptly, without warning. I nearly crashed into his straight back and hurriedly stopped as well. I understood at once and explained for him. The heavenly music is singing nonsense again. Zhao Xianchan was silent for a long moment. It's not nonsense. Huh? I froze. He looked at me and repeated, word by word. It's not nonsense. It's real. In that instant, my mind went completely blank. My boy, come a little closer. Let me hear your heartbeat. Let me remember your face. Zhao Xianchan raised an eyebrow and actually stepped forward. His tall figure carried an undeniable sense of pressure as he completely overshadowed me. My heartbeat instantly went haywire. That handsome face, usually distant and faintly weary, was now right in front of me. His gaze felt almost tangible as it slowly traced my brows, my eyes, my nose, and finally lingered on my lips. In a low voice, he asked, Can you hear it? My fingers curled slightly as I asked reflexively, Hear what? My heartbeat. Too close. I could almost hear it, his rapid heartbeat, tangled ambiguously with my own. Just as he was about to lower his head and touch my lips, a powerful burst of music suddenly exploded. A strong dad his whole life. What can I do for you? please accept this tiny bit of care. Both Zhao Xianchan and I stopped thinking entirely, frozen in shock. We looked up and saw, not far away, the Chongning Marquis riding past us in a hurry.
No way.
A bold thought formed in my mind. I asked carefully, "Your dad?" Zhao Xianchan looked equally stunned. "But I've never heard that the Chongning Marquis and Mother Emperor ever." "Then you and Su Qing. Wouldn't that make you half-siblings?" We exchanged a look and, without a word, took off after him. We had just reached the entrance of the grand hall when we heard the Emperor's furious voice. "Chongning Marquis, are you trying to break off the engagement?" The Chongning Marquis replied bitterly, "I would not dare. It's just that the girl who is to become crown princess is not my eldest daughter, Su Qing, but my younger daughter, who was lost many years ago. I only learned this recently. Back then, when my wife returned to her hometown to worship the ancestors, she was already pregnant. She went into labor on the road and had no choice but to give birth in a temple. That same day, a concubine of the Wen family also gave birth. She bribed the midwife and, in the chaos, the two infants were swapped. It was only after my eldest daughter saw her once at a banquet and realized that the Wen family's concubine-born daughter resembled my late wife by 7 parts that she told me. That was when I uncovered the truth. Otherwise, I would never have known that my own flesh and blood suffered cold treatment in the Wen family, while that bastard lived 18 years in luxury as the Marquis's heir. I suddenly remembered the song I'd used to trick Zhao Xianchan into thinking he'd fallen in love. Turns out, that song wasn't meant for him at all. It was for my sister. No wonder Su Qing's heart must have been a tsunami the first time she saw me. Zhao Xianchan suddenly asked excitedly, "Since you're the legitimate daughter of the Chongning Marquis, then can we be together?" I said, "Forget that, let me acknowledge my dad first." I rushed straight in, dropped to my knees, and shouted passionately at the Chongning Marquis.
"Dad."
Not to be outdone, Zhao Xianchan charged in after me and shouted too,
"Dad."
Unfortunately, he rushed too hard and knelt straight in front of the Grand Tutor. Son, I am your father. Come here, sit down, let's have a talk." Everyone. Did I just hear something I shouldn't have? Even the Grand Tutor stared at the Emperor in shock. Only the Emperor's face flashed with a hint of panic. Draft an edict. Bestow a marriage between the Crown Prince and Shubing, the younger daughter of the Chongning Marquis. She threw out that line and fled in a hurry. This time, the Grand Tutor reacted fast and immediately chased after her. The rest of us were left staring at one another in confusion. I must have said I loved you hundreds of years ago. You just forgot, and I didn't remember either. Zhao Xianchan helped me up and asked, "Done acknowledging your father, Crown Princess? Shall we go take a look?" At this point, who even cared about acknowledging a father anymore? I hadn't even had time to exchange a single word with my freshly confirmed biological dad. I nodded firmly. Let's go. I didn't just barge into the imperial family once. I was going to keep barging into it in the future. The imperial family's gossip was huge and sweet. I glanced at Zhao Xianchan beside me, his face equally bright with excitement. The imperial crown prince
Was sweet too.
The end. Stories like this are never really about bloodlines, conspiracies, or even crowns. They're about timing, about people colliding at exactly the wrong moment, with exactly the right song playing in the background. Everyone was looking for a father. Some found one. Some didn't. And some realized a little too late that what they were actually searching for was permission to love, to choose, to step off the path written for them. As for the heavenly music,
It never lied.
it just spoiled the plot. And if fate insists on being loud, dramatic, and slightly off-key, then the only sensible response is to walk straight into it hand in hand and see what ridiculous song plays next.